All right, guys, welcome back. Well, this here's a 756 diesel tractor. There's a 400, and there's a 756 gas tractor. It's supposed to be nice weather tomorrow. Hopefully we get to drive that. And if everything checks out, we'll start putting sheet metal back on that girl and get her going. I've got some video on that, but I wanted to get a little further in that process before I posted it. But I was fooling around with this diesel a little bit here lately, and I'm not in love with this block heater. I think that's ugly as sin. I've got a R-rated description of that I'll spare you. But anyway, also, and this is the point of this video, this is the temperature sending unit for this tractor, and as you can see, it's broken. I always wondered why it never built any temperature. Well, there's your sign. So I decided that since the wire's not quite long enough, I'd get me a piece of copper wire, which wasn't too hard to come up with, and solder it on there, and then solder it on there, and then we'll put some black tape on it. We'll call it a deal. Hopefully it'll work, because that little sending unit's about almost 70 bucks a case. So here's the interesting part of this story. I don't know, I'm getting really good camera work here. Is that comes off, and you can see where the wire was soldered right on there. So my plan, and I'll bring you back later when I get set up to do this, is I'm going to unsolder that wire and then just solder that right on there, hopefully the way that was, and then we can, you know, shorten that up, solder this together, do our best black tape job, yada yada yada. And well, like I said, hopefully this works and it saves me a few dollars. As you can see, coolant's not draining real fast. The petcock is plugged, but I'm not in a hurry. The other end of that hose that needs to leave is right there. And I just changed the fuel filters. I don't really want to pull those canisters, but I'm probably going to, because I want to, if you're going to do this kind of crap, this is the time of year to do it. I don't need this tractor for anything for a good long time. So, yeah, I will bring you back when I get set up to remove that wire. Well, it didn't take too long to get set up. I don't know, this is going to be kind of interesting, I think. I guess, you know, we're really not out anything here, folks. If this fails, it was broken anyway. My luck, they silver soldered this or something, and I won't be able to get it hot enough with this torch to get that off of there. Wow, I kind of said that in jest, but I'm starting to think maybe that is right, because that should have, if that was just lead solder, that should have let go long ago. Okay. Yeah. Well, Wilbur, I think we're going to have to go a different direction. This may get interesting. I also need to remember that that is hot. What did I do? with that other piece? Well, we're gonna have to go hunt stuff up and let that cool, ponder life's choices. Somebody says that here on YouTube. He's right. Well, this just gets more interesting as we go along. It turns out that wire there is steel. I really did not expect that. I am going to just try to put a dab of solder on there. Hopefully I can stick them together. I'm less enthusiastic about my repair than I was 15 minutes ago, but I guess we'll see if this works. Now, oh, well, they were stuck together. Man, God, that is getting warm. It sticks to the copper really good. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of at the, I'll be surprised if it works. I can trim that down easy enough. And after that cools, I'll file that around. This, I don't know, I'm going to say it has a chance of actually working. I don't know. Where's our little, you know, we've got to get that bump through that hole. I don't think that'll be that hard to accomplish. I guess we're going to leave this at stay tuned. I don't know. Yeah, I'll just bring you back here in a little bit, maybe. I should throw this into one of these videos just for the fun of it. While I was in Des Moines, I picked up that Berryman is about my favorite brake clean these days, and it's $5.99 a can at Mills. And then I saw this CRC Pro Series, and that is 1 pound 13 ounce, whereas this is 14 ounce. Now, if my math is any good at all, that is 2 cans plus an ounce. $5.99, $8.99. So I'm saying this is a bargain. This is the, which one are they? One of these is chlorinated and one is non. The green is non-chlorinated, but it is only 18 ounces and it is also $8.99. So I'm hoping that the red is really good, because that, today's market, that is a bargain. $9 for a 29 ounce can. Okay, while I was also in Des Moines, I stopped at an O'Reilly's on University and I got some of this hose. because I think this one is shot. And while we've got this tractor apart, we're going to change that and that. The guy was kind of happy because I had taken pictures of this, and somewhere on there he got a part number, that 4079, that's a part number, and that's how he found that. So I've already replaced these two. We'll do those short ones. I guess we'll take the long way around. Somebody moved his D17 yesterday. Could have got by with a lot less hose, but on this diesel, it looks to me like this one has been replaced and this one is going to be replaced. So that's what else was on my schedule, or agenda, maybe be a better word today. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Well, you know, guys, sometimes your day just goes from bad to worse. And apparently this is one of those days. My soldering did not work out. I took that outside and put it in the snow to cool it off, and when I came back in, the copper wire just basically fell off. And I looked and eventually found this is what they sell you nowadays. All right, this I bought for the 1066. I decided to just go ahead and put it in here. You put an end on there. I don't know if crimping is good enough, or it probably ought to be soldered. Pulled on that, got a little extra wire to work with. That's looking pretty good. Well, this reducer is going to have to come out of there, and the crescent wrench wanted around it, so I put the pipe wrench on it, and the top came off, and the rest is still in there. And so far I haven't put an easy out in it, but let's just say I'm less than optimistic. I don't know. I got the coolant out of it. Holds almost 5 gallons. I did put a plug in there. I meant to bring a rag and wipe that off. So we're started on our journey here. Like I say, I think it's 20th of January today, so we've got time to do this stuff. We don't get excited. Although I may have to pull some more sheet metal off, which I really didn't want to do. Just, I don't know. I've got some nice easy outs. I may have a go at that. I hope I don't have to drill it. Man, I hope I don't have to drill it. And I really don't want to pull that water manifold off of there. I don't know. This is not really where I wanted to go with this video, but you know, sometimes you follow the path that life leads you down. So I haven't posted anything for quite a while, and it's sad to say this is about as good a content as I've had in recent times. I've just been doing a lot of mundane crap that hasn't been video worthy. So, all right. If you watched the Farmall gas fuel system video, you will know that I was euphoric, and I didn't tell you why. Well, this is why. Because this plug is out. That was what was part of the temperature sending unit, which I believe the new one is over on the bench. I'll clean those threads up a little better. I thought I was going to have to pull that manifold or pull the hood and drill it. And don't let anybody tell you that nothing good ever comes from going to the bar, because the other night when I was at the bar, I was talking to a couple of friends of mine, and crying a little bit. Not too much, just talking about stuff that goes on in life, you know. And I told him that I had twisted the head right off of that reducer, and that's causing me grief. So I don't remember if it was Bill or Carol, one or the other of them, asked if I had heated it, and I had, but they said, did you spray it with Croil or something like that? And I said no, because I have had very poor luck with such things. But you know, I'm probably gonna have to pull the hood off anyway, because I need to work on the fuel sending unit on this, because it doesn't work either. That's a story for another day. So I thought, you know, looking at my alternatives, you know, pull the water manifold or pull the hood so I can get up here with a, and I've got a big 1/2-inch Milwaukee corded drill that would drill that. But anyway, I wheeled the torch that was sitting there back over to the where it goes. But anyway, that is the square style Easy Out. And I heated that with that acetylene torch, and small tip, kind of low temperature. And then, everybody knows about Croil, right? Well, here's something a lot of you people probably don't know. When they started out, it was Silly Croil, Kano Labs. I've had that can since probably 1987 or 8, nigh on 40 years. And I'd say it's still a third full. Don't use it all the time. May have to start using it more, because I heated it yesterday and I sprayed it, and I came back over and looked at it a little bit later, and I noticed that there was a couple of bubbles. And I thought, damn, maybe it's actually getting down in there. Well, it must have been. I gave it another squirt before I left for the day, and I had to go to Des Moines this morning. It's, what is it? I can't see the clock. It's just after 2 o'clock. Got home, ate some lunch, didn't get in a big toot. Get out here, drove the Easy Out back down in there. Got my 15-inch antique crescent wrench. It's a dandy though, I love it. Put it on there and gave a mighty heave, and it squeaked. And it's like, hey, I think that's good. And I turned it a little more, and sure enough, it broke loose. And you see, there it is. And I gotta tell you, because I was not liking 4 3/4, hell, that probably is 5 gallons of coolant sitting there on the floor in a bucket. I just got to figure out, get my new sending unit in there, and then I can put it back in the engine. I checked it. It's supposed to be good. It's cold, of course, but it says good to 40 below, so we're going to run with that. Then once we get that in this radiator, we're going to take that same bucket, and we're going to go drain the water out of the other 756 and get some real antifreeze put in that. So, I don't know, still working on this. I don't know, there'll be more updates coming. Thanks for watching.